Let's take a little look-ski. Corey Bay on Saltai Ramp against Robert McKee. Oh, yeah, this one's going to be quick.
Yes.
Either way, it's going to be fast.
Someone's got to go.
That's right. Fervent champion. Giddy up. Let's go, Javier Dominguez. Poke you for one. Heading back Corey's way. Overgrown Tomb. Enters the battlefield tapped. Robert McKee, he's got a Castle Embreth. That's a 10th Street Dodger. That's a Rimrock Knight.
Oh, yeah.
The fun places here. Uro, back up to 18. Trigger, draw, land, tapped, pass it. Big turn. Gotta have something like an annex here. Gotta have a good card here if you're Robert McKee.
Well, the play last turn of Dodger and Battle Rush instead of just playing the Knight indicates a hand that's long on mana. So if there's a good 4 or Embercleave in the deck, I think there's a reasonable chance that it's in McKee's hand.
Okay. Well, we can't see McKee's hand, but we got a great red mage casting this game alongside myself, so we will see as here's a Hydroid Crisis going to gain life, draw a card, 3/3 on the battlefield, eliminate the draw. So let's see if it's land. Well, it doesn't even need a land for Embercleave, so let's see how this goes.
If you didn't have land number 3 in hand already, you would just cast Rimrock Knight. So you have to have it rolled up. Or you would almost certainly cast Rimrock Knight.
Yep, get him. No blocks allowed. Yeah, so you got to block Fervent Champion. Okay.
Could be Bone Crusher. Makes sense with this play.
Yeah. First strike damage, Bone Crusher, kill your creature. Deal you 5. There's the real card.
The big cleaves.
Alright, so you're down to 6. But 6 is manageable.
Oh, with Nissa plus Eliminate, I think Baumeister is a pretty heavy favorite to get this one.
Yeah, because these red decks, and this is the big thing about these red decks in this format, like no burn.
Yep.
Right? You think of all the red decks that we've seen over Standard in our 8+ years of covering matches of Magic and Lightning Bolts and Lightning Strikes and Stoke the Flames, and this deck has none of it. I mean, they have. Torbrand's powerful, but not on this battlefield.
I don't know. Torbrand's not bad because the Dodger can make unblockable, and the Rimrock Knight obviously has the Embercleave, and you can't eliminate Torbrand. So this is actually not a bad setup here for McKee.
All right, so you got to eliminate the Rimrock Knight, obviously,
but you're still falling the 3, and the Embercleave's still there.
Okay, all right, I'm with you.
That was really good for Torbrand there. And the Dodger's doing work. This card, I think people look at it as just like a mopey 1-drop to fill out the deck because you need a certain number of 1-drops, and that is part of it. But the card's just not bad. And with Embercleave and Castle Embreth and Torbrand, you get to spots where this finishes off the game. You mentioned there's no burn. That the Dodger does kind of act as an analog to that.
Yeah, I mean the Dodger is your burn spell in quotes, right? It's got to do that work for you. Help you cross the finish line, as it were. Corey's up to 7. Corey found an Ether Dust.
Yeah, Gus is huge here. Breaks up any number of sequences McKee could have.
As it oftentimes is against these red decks. It's coming up huge. Eight, 3/3/3s. Torbrand's a 2/4, so it lines up well against these 3/3s, and then it deals extra damage. So, looks like it's just going to be Hydroid Crisis in the air. These lands are going to hang back to block. And Robert McKee's going to draw. It's a mountain. Got to try to beat this battlefield, plus an Ether Gust he doesn't know about. Cleave. Yep. Oh, this would be lethal. What do you want to Gust? Just the creature?
Yeah, I mean, you're attacking for 1,000,000 next turn. Yeah, I mean, what would you Gust otherwise?
Well, so you got 3 options, right? You can Gust Torbrand, you can Gust the Cleave, or you can Gust the Dodger. I'm just going through my head. I'm just like,
I just think that you're just incurring risk for no reason to Cleave to Gust anything else.
Sure.
Like if you go, all right, I'll go ahead and I mean, I would assume you would have to do it to the Embercleave's off the table because then you would just do it to the Dodger, and if you do it to Torbrand, it's like, okay, I'm still hitting you for 4. A Rimrock Knight kills you. Just no reason to risk it. I know it sucks a little bit to gust their 1-drop with haste, but I think it's more efficient that turn than any other option you have.
Okay. They will pass it, sacrifice that. Another Hydroid Crisis was drawn here by Corey, so in combination with this, I think this game might be put away now, because Corey's about to gain a decent amount of life. Another big body in the battlefield, and one of these things about these large copies of Hydroid Crisis is they close the game out fast.
Yes.
Which I know you are generally in favor of. Extinction Event, huh? Haven't activated Nissa yet, so that means we can just go untap a land, black, green, green, and yeah, get your Torbrand, get your land.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Just,
yeah. Adios, amigo. I'll take care of that one. Corey B. going to win game number 1 here over Robert McKee. So I'll ramp up a game very quickly over Modern Aggro, and he gets even more tools from the sideboard, folks. Most notably, End of the God Eternals, which is that's another card, right? When I remember when I first saw it, I was like, wait, you kidding me with this? Just print anything. I mean, it's good, but you got to work for that.
Well, I think also part of it is that where the red decks are powerful is Embercleave kill you 1 turn, Enter the God Eternals kill you in 1 turn. So you just Torbrand kill you in 1 turn, Embercleave kill you in 1 turn. So there's just a burden to be interacting cheap and at instant speed. And so these chunky sorceries that have moments of just being like, oh man, that's like the lights out, no way they can win. They also contribute to a lot of your losses by just not being something that interacts for 1 or 2 mana. Like,
yeah. Are
you better against mono red having Enter the God Eternals or Deadweight? I think it's like it's not a solved mystery to me which one you would rather have, even though the ceiling on Enter the God Eternals is so much higher.
I think I think it depends on what the red decks look like in the format, obviously, but given what I've learned over my many years of playing Magic, I think you just want that early interaction more often than not. Now, obviously, it's not straightforward because there's going to be times where Deadweight, your opponent has a Bone Crusher Giant, you look like a bozo, right? And then there's other times when you have Enter the God Eternals that you can't cast, and you died by the time you cast it. So,
yeah, I mean, that Enter the God Eternals in the opening 7 we saw from Baumeister contributed to him having to mulligan. Yep. If it was something cheaper, it's possible that the ceiling's high enough and there's enough cheap interaction that you would consider it.
Now the Enter the God Eternals in his hand is something from to play towards. Eliminates very timely draw, because now the goal, if you're Corey right now, is just draw the game out, fire off that gigantic bomb, and hope that it's good enough.
Right. You now you can play to Enter the God Eternals because you have enough cheap stuff along the way to get you there, but you need to have the cheap stuff first to be able to do it.
So here's an interesting question. Do you like eliminating here on turn number 2 if you're Corey? Do you like Thought Erasering? And note that we can't see Robert's hand.
I would eliminate here because the most threatening cards are Embercleave and Torbrand, and you can wait a turn on your Thought Erasure before that becomes problematic. Sometimes Steam King can just blow your doors off that turn, facilitate making a bunch of plays. The 1 point of damage matters, and it's probably more than 1 point because pre-combats and stuff.
Well, somebody needed a 3rd land. 3 copies of Annex and a Torbrand, so there you go.
And this is a hand from McKee that we're seeing here that if it doesn't speed up fast, is really going to struggle to beat Enter the God Eternals.
Yeah,
it's just going to be too much presence on the battlefield, too much everything.
Thought Eraser's Surveil put a land in the graveyard. Temple of Mystery put a land on the bottom of the deck. There's a 3rd land. Robert needed to have it that turn, and he did. So Steamkin's going to grow, going to attack here for 3. Corey's draw, Gus, not bad. Again, just trying to buy time and bridge the gap, and he's doing a pretty nice job of that.
Yeah, anything cheap that interacts that turn is a fine draw.
We head back over to McKee. Got Annex 4 power, Steamkin. 2 power, 10th Street Dodger, just its little 1-1. Land off the top, and now we know exactly what everything that Robert's working with. He's got Annex on the battlefield, 2 of them in hand. The only thing that we don't know, that no one knows, is the top card of Robert's deck. But we might know that in just a second. I suppose whatever's getting gusted is going to the bottom. It's just a question of what does Corey want to gust.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward here because if you gust the Annex, McKee goes, okay, bottom it, play an Annex.
Yep.
If you gust the Steamkin, he can still post-combat play an Annex. Legend rule, the first one, it will look as a 5-power creature when it dies on the devotion count, 2 tokens for the trouble. So I think with Enter the God Eternals being the play here, you want to cut down McKee's ability to go wide. And so I like the way that Baumeister used the gust last turn.
Should there have been an Annex play pre-combat there then to trigger the Steamkin and then force Corey to make a move then? Because if you play it pre-combat, you get your trigger on the Steamkin. If Annex resolves, you get your tokens, and then you move forward accordingly. Better pre or post?
I think I would prefer pre-combat there.
Okay. I think I'm with you.
With Baumeister knowing your hand, I mean, I think it's just, you're not going to trick him, so.
Robber the Rich.
How many cards are in McKee's hand here?
I think he just has an Annex, that's it.
Yeah, I don't like pre-combating the Dodger there, because the Robber the Rich could peel and eliminate off, and then you could get rid of the token.
Ah, that's a good point. Wait for the trigger to resolve.
Yeah, just see what you get. You might find something.
Yeah, it's a minor thing, but it could have mattered in a very meaningful way, so that's a really, really good point.
Yeah, I mean, if it's eliminated off the top there, it's huge. I mean, I think
McKee
goes from really far behind to in the driver's seat.
Bro, don't you know? Triggers, of course. Overgrown Tomb, tapped, Wilt at the ready in case a top deck Embercleave comes rolling off. But don't forget that Wilt can blow up. It can blow up Annex. I'm ashamed to admit that I didn't know that Annex was an enchantment for an extremely long time.
Yeah, it doesn't really come up a ton.
Well, I used to sideboard Gem-Razer Routing in Mono Red.
Right.
And then, I was just playing a game, 1 drop, 2 drop, opponent plays an Annex, I mutate onto the thing, and then it's just I blow up the Annex, I'm like, oh my god! Oh man! I didn't know this was a thing. Pretty embarrassing. But boy, did it feel nice. Nissa. Shaking the world. Welcome back, Nissa. Nissa was gone for a little while in that Team of Reclamation time.
Yep.
Very powerful planeswalker. Gonna do a little Uroing. Extinction events. Mostly odds. If you do it on odds, you lose your Uro, but you have another one in the graveyard. You get to keep your land, too. Okay. Here come the beatdowns. Get your damage.
Yeah, it just doesn't matter too much. So far ahead on resources. McKee's hand is a known stinker. Just keep your life total high.
Yeah. Oh, right. I also just learned that Corey's at 15. So, just putting that together right now, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you still have to respect Embercleave. You can die from... Annex Embercleave is the combo. You can die from...
He's got Wilt at the ready. He's good.
Just a thing to be mindful about. That's all.
Yeah, I don't think Corey's ever going to put the Wilt shield down until he actually needs to. So there's not going to be any Embercleave cheese outs here, I don't think, unless something goes awry for Mr. Baumeister. Saltai doing Saltai thing, Joe.
Yep.
Powerful stuff. Still a very beatable deck, in my estimation. Powerful deck, but beatable. It's just time to get a little innovative. That's all. Tintry Dodgers, they showed who the boss is. That's what they did. Doing a casting cost check, so odds are Annex, Dodgers, Spitter, Uro. Let's start with Teferi. Okay, so blow that up. And are we thinking even then? Oh, this is cutesy wootsy. Oh, are we able to? Oh yeah, we just go for the W. That's a nice play by Corey. So the Annex tokens can't block. You phase out the Spitter, and then you attack for 6, 10, 16. That's nice. Okay, you can just clean the game up right now. That's really well done. I thought we might be playing some more turns, getting defensive, casting Extinction, and everything else, but Corey said, you know what? I have a line to kill you. That's exactly